Hello, this is Brian. Today is Monday, February 19th, 2024, and I'm here in the Sabre Springs area of San Diego for another after-work hike. Today, I am parked at the cul-de-sac of Middle Ridge Terrace, and I'm planning on hiking up to a couple of peaks in the area. Today I'm planning on hiking Van Dam Peak, North Van Dam Peak, and Peak 1080. Let's see if I can get all three of those in. I don't think this will be an extraordinarily long hike, but we'll see. Again, I'm getting ready to do a hike and then go visit my father, who's still in Escondido. And so I figured, let's get some hiking in. Right off the bat, a few steps into my hike. Look at this gorgeous toyon right here. Heteromeles arbudifolia. This is an absolute stunning specimen right here. What a beauty. Looks like this one's, most of its fruit's already been eaten off by the birds and other animals. Yeah, we're starting off with a beautiful toyon. We're in some very lush vegetation here. And we're not even in chaparral. This is coastal sage scrub right here. This is actually coastal sage scrub. It's as tall as some of the chaparral I've hiked in. So at least try to get in a hike today. Tomorrow I am probably not going to be hiking because it's supposed to be raining again. I'm hoping before this month is out, or before it's too late, to get at least one more Anza-Borrego desert hike in before the weather starts getting too hot. They've already had some days flirting with 80 degrees over there, even though it's going to be cooler with the weather system coming through. But hopefully, I was almost going to do it this week, but with the threat of rain, I just don't know if I'm really feeling the vibe of trying to do that tomorrow. So at least get a hike in today. So I've hiked Van Dam Peak before. Well, actually North Van Dam Peak. The one with the big concrete structure, big concrete platform there. I guess there used to be a radio tower there back in the day. Now it's just a big slab with graffiti on it. So, and I hiked that from Sabre Springs Park. However, I used to think that was Van Dam Peak. And I might still have the video on a memory card somewhere. I think I still have it somewhere. But the thing is, what I thought was Van Dam Peak, the highest point in the area, is actually North Van Dam Peak. Van Dam Peak, the actual legit Van Dam Peak, is actually a small bump to the southeast of North Van Dam Peak. Again, North Van Dam Peak is the most prominent peak in the area, the highest point in this general vicinity. And I did a hike up to that once, back in December 2018. And I recorded video for it, but I never uploaded it or made a video out of it. So yes, and I did that from Sabre Springs Park, which is probably the more popular route. I wanted to do this from a different area. This is probably about a block or two. It's about 2 or 3 blocks north of Sabre Springs Park. What I do is get off on Powell Road on Interstate 15. Bear right, turns into Poway Road. If you go left, you're going Rancho Penasquitos Road. And could have done Could have done it from there, but I'm trying to get actually a little bit shorter of a hike today because I still have things to do after I'm done with my hike. So I think this will be the shorter way where I can maximize my chance of hitting all 3 peaks. Yeah, I'm not surprised this would be a pretty steep access trail here, but it's going to take me a few hundred feet up. I think I'm starting at a slightly higher elevation too over here. But if I start from Sabre Springs Park, that means I'll have to hike an extra distance. Normally, I don't mind that, but today I just got off of work. Very strenuous, very draining day. And I just want a little more direct route today, so I can hit all 3 peaks and try a different trailhead. So if I find that footage, I might try to upload it or something, see if I can make a video out of that. But yeah, this is still coastal sage scrub, full of monkey flower here. I believe this is probably Diplochus punaceus, the one with the really rich red flowers. I saw one that was already blooming. Then we got Rhamnus crocea, spiny buckthorn or spiny redberry, laurel sumac. Yeah. And some very tall California sagebrush. Look at that. Of course, this is a slope going uphill, but still, these are pretty big sagebrushes. There's a baby white sage right there. Pretty cool. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. A pentagrama fern. Really cool. Oh, that's cool. I don't see those very often. Pentagrama species. Yeah. Yeah, because we're in a very mesic, kind of a north-facing slope right here. This is a beautiful canyon. This is absolutely gorgeous. Wow, look at this spiny redberry. This is a big one. It's a very tall one here. Once we get closer to the ridge, we should be getting into actual chaparral. There is chaparral in these hills. So, to get to Van Dam Peak, I'm actually gonna go to the ridgeline trail, and then I'm gonna bear right and go downhill a little bit, and then going southbound along the ridge, I'm going to look for a use trail on my left to try to get to Van Dam Peak. The actual Van Dam Peak is not even one of the highest peaks in this little mountain range here. So we'll see. Catch you on the next clip. This is a really steep trail. This will give you a really, really good workout. It's actually, despite the fact that the soil is nice and damp from all the rain, it is even slippery even after the rain. It's not muddy, but slippery in the sense of it's so steep, you have to have some good traction to get up this. Going down this, I'm gonna have to kind of crawl. Gains elevation very quickly. But it means I'll get a nice little workout, A, and B, the scenery along this trail is spectacular. Fragrance in the fragrance here, thanks to the black sage, is delectable. Looks like there's a use trail to this little summit here. Let's go check this out. This is not the way I intend to go. I intend to go towards the ridge line. But I'm gonna go check out this hill here. Let's see. This won't be very prominent, but I'm just gonna add on a little quick side excursion. Oh God, the aroma out here is unbelievable. Thanks to this Salvia mellifera, gorgeous black sage. Also thanks to Artemisia californica, the California sagebrush. There's also some white sage here too. There is some. So let's see. I know there are several small so-called peak bagger bumps here in this area. I'm gonna double check to see if this one is one of them, but I'm gonna climb this one first. Already came up a few hundred feet, so we'll see. There is a cul-de-sac where I'm parked. That's Middle Crest, or Middle, I can't even remember the name of it right now. It's right off of Sabre Springs Road. Off Sabre Springs Road, let's see, on this Morning Creek Road. So I get off on Powell Road, head east on Powell Road, turn left onto, or turn onto Morning Creek Road. I believe it was a right. Went down Morning Creek Road, which is right over there. It kind of goes around, and then I turned onto Middle Ridge Terrace and parked at the cul-de-sac, so I can have a more direct ascent up to the peaks. But wasn't planning on hitting this one. But I'm just gonna go for it anyways. And I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use a little cutoff right here. Wow, what a cool place. I've been to this park before, but not to this portion here. Ooh, cottontail. All right, so I'm gonna use this little cutoff here. Go up to this peak here. Ooh, do we have Parish nightshade growing here? Looks like Solana parishii starting to bloom. And then, like a dummy, I kept the camera zoomed out. Good job, Brian. Yeah, Parish nightshade, Solana parishii. So yeah, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I might even hit 4 peaks today. So yeah, you get to that junction, you'll see the trail heading towards the ridge line. That's the trail I'm going to be taking next. And then, if you make a hard right, instead of bearing left, or keep going straight, you make a hard right, you can come up to this small peak over here for an extra side excursion. Let's see. Looks like it's a little further along than I thought. But I'm going to keep on going. I'll see you when I'm there. All right. I suspect I'm getting close to the high point already. Wow, I'm glad I made this extra side trip to get up here. Just about the summit of this one. All right. Looks like the high point's going to be over here. So I'm just going to leave the trail momentarily. Cool. All right. This is my first peak of the day. I'll have to look up the elevation of this one. Wow. Really cool. Really nice. Looks like the rocks are over there. Let me see if I can get over there really quickly. Wow. Incredible. Let's see here. Let's get to the high point. I wonder if there'll be a summit register in here. This might be one of those small peak bagger summits. All right. I'll have to look at the topo maps and look at peak bagger in the topo maps, see if this is one of them. This might be. Really cool. I'm going to point out I'm going to do the more interpretive viewfinder, or the viewfinder on probably on North Van Dam Peak, the most prominent peak in the area. But views over here are spectacular. Even though they're a little blocked off by where North Van Dam Peak is and everything. Wow, really cool. All right. Like I said, I'm going to do the main viewfinder on North Van Dam Peak, which is the highest peak I'm going to hit today. I'm suspecting this peak's probably close to 1,000 feet in elevation, but I'm not sure. I'll have a better idea soon enough. All right, time for my summit selfie. I'm going to start working my way towards the main ridge line, and that's where I'm going to be able to start and hit some of the other peaks. Alright, so I'm just about back at the saddle where I branched off and took this trail up to my first summit. So I was looking back uphill towards the first peak. So here's the junction. So this is where I came up right here. So do a sharp right, head up the ridge, a couple of undulations, and you'll find yourself at the summit. So again, this is where I came up. Now I'm going to go turn left. I'm going to go bear up this way. So kind of like heading straight. Very slippery over here. So now I'm going to start heading up towards the ridge line, the main ridge. Yeah, this little subsidiary ridge here has a pretty cool area. Very beautiful over there. All right, so now I'll start making my way up towards the main ridge line. So I'm going to start heading up this way, and I'll see you along the way up this. All right, hasn't taken me very long, but getting close to the ridge line already. A lot of western scrub jays calling. Love it. All right, so all right, we're easing up. Kind of steep getting up here. We're just about at the ridge line. So I should be intersecting the main ridge line trail pretty soon. This place is incredibly beautiful. Like I said, I've been up to North Van Dam Peak, the highest summit in the area. Actually not that far from it. Could visit that next, but kind of wanted to find my way to Van Dam Peak, which will be one of the lower summits I visit today, actually. I don't know what elevation, the exact elevation that first bump on that ridge, the summit of that ridge was, but it's probably close to Van Dam Peak. Van Dam Peak itself is 1,038 feet. North Van Dam Peak, the summit of the ridge, is 1,113. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Here's a trail here. I'm going to go ahead and bear right. Van Dam Peak should be this way. Let's see if I can find it. So I need to head south on the ridgeline. It looks like this was a cutoff. So it looks like this is the main trail here. There are a few cutoffs and stuff, but I'm actually going to be heading south and downhill for a while. I have to look for a very narrow use trail on my left. So now we emerge into the chaparral on here on the ridgeline. Mission Manzanita with its new growth and still blooming. Xylococa is bicolor. Already still got its flowers on it and new leaves are popping out. Still got a lot of black sage up here. Black sage is very common on the side of trails in the chaparral. Of course, you know what this is. You already know what this is. Adenostoma fasciculatum, verdifasciculatum, common chamise. One of the biggest indicators, actually the biggest indicator of chaparral that we have. All right, I saw a hill here somewhere on the left. I'm suspecting that might be Van Dam Peak. I'm thinking that might be it right there. I've been reading peak bagger trip reports, and I guess there's like a silver or red can or register on the peak. So what I need to do is kind of look out for a use trail. Van Dam Peak itself, 1,038 feet, only has about 53 feet of prominence, I think. I believe, but it's a named peak, and I'm planning on visiting it. So now I'm going to look to see if I can find a use trail on this side here. So I got to keep an eye out. I'm thinking that's it right there. I think that's Van Dam Peak, the actual Van Dam Peak. So I need to keep an eye out for a use trail on my left. We'll see. Keep you posted if I can find something to get over there. We'll see. I'm not seeing any use trail. I looked on Google Earth. I could have sworn I saw a use trail heading to the peak. I think I can actually see something near the peak. That's got to be Van Dam Peak. It's got to be it. It's got to be it. It's got to be the 1,038 foot Van Dam Peak. I'm going to go down this just a little bit more. Maybe I should have come up from the other park. Then I would have missed that ridgeline though. Probably wouldn't have even noticed. I don't see any use trail branching off. And the further I go down, the more elevation I'm gonna have to gain going up. Well, if I don't make it to Van Dam Peak, I'm probably not gonna add this to my map, because then the title of the video will change a little bit. Yeah, that's got to be it right there. But again, I'm not seeing any pathway or use trail heading over in that direction. I don't want to go all the way to the park. These western scrub jays are going crazy today. There are a lot of scrub jays out here in this beautiful, beautiful park. All right. So I'm not going to go much further. I don't see any type of path. I'm going to go back up and look for it again. But I don't want to go so far down this that I have to climb several hundred feet up. It's kind of hoping to catch that use trail to get up to Van Dam Peak. But right now, it's not looking so hot. It's very slippery here today. Very slippery. I don't know why. Yeah, I think after I get to that chaparral yucca stalk where that scrub jay's hanging out, I'm gonna turn around, start heading back up the ridge line. I'm not gonna spend too much time filming over here. But yeah, there's a western scrub jay right on top of that chaparral yucca stalk. Pretty cool. There's another one too. Let's see. Yeah, that's where I came from. That's the first peak I visited right over there. It's along that. So yeah, that should be Van Dam Peak right there. But again, I'm not seeing a use trail. Where am I? Let me see. No, this does not look like a use trail. That's where I was trying to go, right up there. Oh well, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna find any use trail going curving around like that. Use trails are usually pretty direct. So I'm going to get back on the regular trail and work my way back up this. All right, see you on the next clip. There's the peak again. That has to be Van Dam Peak. It's in the general direction I would expect to see it coming from the direction I came up the hill. But I do not see any side trails here. I saw what looked like some breaches, but then I looked down and I saw cryptobiotic soil, and I didn't want to start stepping all over that because it is a very important part of the plant community. It's kind of stuff like this, lichens and algae and probably fungi. So I'm trying not to do that. I've been lucky in a lot of places I go to hike. I'm usually able to get over to spots without doing that. Most places I go are, when I do go off trail, I do it in places where I'm not destroying the environment to get where I want to go. Step off over here. Yeah. It's either, I guess Van Dam Peak's not meant to happen today. Oh, kind of disappointed actually. Really looking forward to it. Finally getting to it. But I don't see any pathways going over there without having to bushwhack and step over there's a barbed wire fence in there too. Oh well. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah, I'm not going to step too much on this stuff here. Yeah, there's a barbed wire fence there. I'm going to leave that alone. Dang. Kind of disappointed. Oh well. See you up the way. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I was able to hit that one small summit on the ridge. So that'll be kind of more or less one of my 3 peaks today. I was thinking I was going to hit 4 peaks today, but I'm not going to bushwhack my way over there. Let me see. Yeah, because the peak is down there below us now. Interesting. Well, I guess I'm going to be heading to North Van Dam Peak. There's a little trail cut off. I think that's the way I came up. There are some trail cutoffs here. Well, that was a little extra elevation loss and gain. I will... Whoa! Whoa! Those crows went crazy! Woo! Corvus brachyrhynchos look like they're fighting or something. Here's another access trail here. There are some trail splits, especially the access trails leading up here to the ridge. All right, well, looks like I'm gonna end up leaving Van Dam Peak alone, unless I can find another route to get over there. But I do have places to go after this. Okay, well, over there, that's towards North Van Dam Peak. Should be there in a matter of minutes. I do see trails kind of worming their way around. I wonder, I don't know if I'll be able to backdoor Van Dam Peak. I don't think so. So once I get over this summit here, when I'm on the way back. Actually, one of those was, I think, was a raven. I think it was both a crow and a raven fighting or something. So one of them had the cronking sound of a raven. The other one had the cawing sound of a crow. So yeah, that has to be Van Dam Peak right there. And I'm guessing I'm just gonna have to leave it alone. But yeah, that should be North Van Dam over there. But yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to point out on the summit, so be prepared for a very long, interpretive look at the peak when I get up there. It's gonna be a lot to point out because there's a lot of backcountry views, a lot to see up here. All right, well, keep you posted. Wow, the views are, oh my gosh, the views are just getting insane. All right, well, catch you up the way. Trying to see the canyon I visited. There's the ridgeline I went to visit earlier, right there. Yeah, it's got to be I think that's where I came up. That's where I came up earlier, taking the trail up. Yeah, I can kind of see where I visited that first peak earlier. So, we got a steep downhill here. All right, this is gonna be cute right here. I think I'll just kind of try to bypass it, use the rocks for some stability. Maybe actually, sometimes it's actually better to walk in the rut. Sometimes, if it's wide enough for you to fit both feet in, sometimes it's actually better to walk in the rut. I've been on quite a few rutted trails on my adventures. One of the most rutted trails I've ever hiked was the Use Trail of Guatai Mountain. That was rutted, especially especially around the midway point, that was really hardcore rutted. I really had to watch my step for that one. So we just came down from this bump here, and I think we're starting the next descent, which should lead us towards North Van Dam Peak. On Google Earth and Google Maps, the high point, 1,113 foot. Yeah, sorry I had to cut that clip short. Actually, got a phone call from my tax prep service. I have an appointment next Monday. So next Monday I have my tax appointment. Of course, hearing my phone ringing kind of makes me think, oh, is it something related to, my father? My father's been in a rehab facility for a week now. Everything seems to be going pretty well, but I do get a little on edge when I hear the phone ring, just in case. And I got to make sure I check to see who's calling, so I know if whatever updates I need to hear, I get the updates. But, all right, I think I'm getting close to North Van Dam Peak. Let's see. Yeah, the clouds are starting to lower and thicken. All those cirrostratus clouds. Those are the thickening clouds before the storm comes. And we got all these low stratocumulus clouds here. All right. Well, this is it. We're here on North Van Dam Peak, 1,113 feet. The high point's going to be over here. So this is North Van Dam Peak. If you look, I think I was in the middle of talking about Google Earth and Google Maps, I think is when the phone rang. Well, Google Earth and Google Maps refer to this as Van Dam Peak. This is not Van Dam Peak. This is North Van Dam Peak. North Van Dam Peak, 1,113 feet. That's going to be time to point out some views pretty soon. Time to get my summit selfie first. Alright, so what kind of views do we have here on North Van Dam Peak? This is the main summit of the day, and this is where I'm going to point out all the views. So now, I'm going to start off towards the west. And over here on the west, we have Black Mountain in Rancho Penasquitos. On the other side of Interstate 15, here roaring below us. So right there, that's Black Mountain at 1,552 feet. The second highest peak in San Diego, city of San Diego. I'll get more into that in a few minutes. And then, just to the northeast of Black Mountain is Little Black Mountain at 1,300, I forget, it's like 1,380-ish feet. And then that's Manzanita Loop Hill at just a little bit less than that. And then I could see over towards Ebony Benchmark, not the ridge in the background, but right there where my fingernail is touching. And that was a hike I did back in December 2022. I did a 5-peak tour called the 5 Summit Tour of Black Mountain Open Space Park. And so those are 4 of the peaks I hit. Black, Little Black, Manzanita Loop Hill, Ebony Benchmark, and on the other side of just north of Black Mountain is Peak 1376. So yeah, quite a bit to see. So that's west. So we're going to swing it around to the southwest, and you can see over towards Del Mar and La Jolla, and that ridge line in the background there is Soledad Mountain at 822 feet. Below is Interstate 15, and the Claremont neighborhood is kind of out that way. That's towards Claremont. So now we're looking more towards the south-southwest. I can see, you might be able to see some of the Coronado Islands off of the Baja California coast, Las Islas Coronados. Then, more towards the south, I can see the hills of Mission Trails Regional Park. On the right there is North Fortuna Mountain at 1,291 feet. I can see South Fortuna Mountain at 1,094 feet. Then center frame is Coles Mountain, the actual highest point in San Diego, at 1,591 feet. And of course, that's the city of San Diego. So looking a little bit more towards the south, we also have, over towards Jamul, is San Miguel Mountain there in the center, 2,565 feet. Then that big long ridge line in the background is actually Otay Mountain. Now that range is sometimes called the San Isidro Mountains, not to be confused with the San Isidro Mountains in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, but a lot of times that mountain range with Otay Mountain is considered to be the San Isidro Mountains as well. So basically we have 2 San Isidro mountain ranges here in San Diego County. In southwestern San Diego County and in northeastern San Diego County, and they border the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. Then, it's going to be hard to see, but way off in the background I can see Cuchama, aka Tecate Peak, at 3,885 feet off that way. Starting to look more towards the southeast, and then that prominent rounded shaped mountain there in the center, that's Lions Peak at 3,741 feet. And let me see if I can get up a little bit more around here so I can point out more of the views. There's actually a really good roster of peaks to be seen from here. Okay, so now we also have, I think the one next to Lions Peak, a little bit closer at hand, I think is McGinty Mountain, I believe. And then you can see the ridges in the background in the center frame there. The right side is Lawson Peak, and the left side is Gaskill Peak. And then, zooming a little bit more southeast, you can see all the way out towards, not this peak here, but way in the background, you can see Los Pinos Mountain on the right and Corte Madera Mountain on the left at the center of the camera view. So yeah, Corte Madera is that one with the steep drop off on the right side, and then the pyramidal peak is Los Pinos Mountain. Then center stage now is Viejas Mountain, and now center stage is El Cajon Mountain. Now we're going to look over, and I'm going to zoom back out because this is a lot closer at hand. Now we got the Poway range over here, and we got a lot of peaks to talk about here too. I'll zoom back in a little bit. So we're going to start center stage looking at Iron Mountain right there at 2,696 feet, and that little peak next to it is Little Iron Mountain, which is just a couple hundred feet lower. Then I can see over towards some of the other small peaks of the Poway range, and then that one right there is called Mount Ellie at a little over 2,400 feet. So that's Mount Ellie, that little pointy one there in the middle. And then that's North Iron Mountain right there at 2,703 feet. Now we're going to keep swinging it a little bit. And now center stage is the most prominent, highest point in the Poway range. Good old Woodson Mountain right there, 2,894 feet. So yes, spectacular views are to be had here. And now we're basically looking east now. So we're looking east towards the Poway range. Now I'm going to swing it around, and I can kind of see the lower parts of Palomar Mountain over there towards the north, but you can see the cloud cover has lowered enough to obscure the top of it. So now we're going to swing it back to the northwest, and I can see all the way out towards San Marcos, some of the smaller mountains in San Marcos. So right at center stage, that prominent one in the middle is actually called Mount Whitney at 1,736 feet. Right in the middle, the three bumps, the one in the middle is called Mount Whitney, interestingly enough, and the one immediately south of it, to the left of it, is Frank's Peak at 1,688 feet. So, and this closes out the loop closes out the view by looking back to Black Mountain to the west. I told you I told you this was gonna take a while for me to really get some views here. So yeah, incredible views here. Incredible views here on North Van Dam Peak. All right, well, I'm gonna start working my way down the ridge a little bit, and I'm gonna try to see if I could find peak 1080. That should be my last peak of the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and start heading off that way, and I'll see you on my next clip. I'm getting ready to leave the summit. This apparently was where the radio tower or something was. There used to be some kind of tower here. This is the old foundation. But more importantly, there we go. Douglas nightshade, Solanum douglasii. That's the second species of nightshade I've seen today. And this one's got smaller white flowers, as you see here. The first one I saw was on that ridge diversion to get to the first peak, and that was the purple flowered Solanum parishii, the parish nightshade. So now we're leaving the summit area. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the ridge for a little while, and then I'm going to start looking for a use trail to get up to peak 1080. So let's see how this works out for us today. So let's see. Let's see if I could find peak 1080 today. All right, well, I'll keep you updated. Keep my clips a little shorter, just to keep focusing more on the juicy stuff before this becomes an hour-and-a-half video. So here we are. It's a very big chaparral, very large chamise, large mission manzanitas, and here's that red monkey flower, Diplacus puniceus. All right, starting to bloom. This time last year, things are blooming a lot earlier. There's a couple of huge mission manzanitas there. All right, I'll see you along the way. Let's see if I can find me to peak 1080 today. Of course, I'll know a lot of my hike here today has been focused on climbing peaks, but I have to admire this huge mission manzanita right here. This is a huge one. Wow. This is bigger than a lot of the manzanitas, the actual true manzanitas we have in the mountains, like at Mount Laguna. It's about the size of a pinkback manzanita, which is a true manzanita. So, and that's an Arctostaphylos. This is a Xylococcus. Wow. Amazing. There's those bell-shaped flowers, just like the regular manzanitas, closely related to the true manzanitas, actually. But yeah, there's a huge wood rat nest in the middle right here, too. Look at that. Look at that. That's incredible. That's an incredible wood rat nest. Okay, I can dig it. All right. See you on the next clip. I think I might have overshot this hill. I'm not talking about Black Mountain there, but this hill under here, I think that's peak 1080. I think I overshot it. I thought I'd have to go a little further. I'm just gonna go look over here to see if there are any other larger promontories. But I did see a use trail going up to the top of that hill. So I think that's gonna be peak 1080, but I'm gonna double check over here. So I think so I'm heading more of in an easterly direction now, and the peak should be to the northwest of North Van Dam Peak. Yeah, I kind of sketched out a map so I can have an idea of the turn by turns, but yeah, there are definitely some other trails here that I'm going to definitely want to explore and feature in future hikes in the area. Most certainly going to be doing more adventures in this park. So yeah, that hill right there should be hill 1080 or peak 1080. So I'm going to go backtrack. It don't look like there were some trails or some other things cutting off on the side I didn't really pay much attention to. I'm going to go over here and make sure. Yeah, because I'm heading kind of northeast right now. Yeah, I didn't lose a super huge amount of elevation coming from North Van Dam Peak. North Van Dam Peak is the most prominent peak in the area. It should be the highest peak in the area, but it's deceptively more prominent than you would think because it appears to be just a bump on the ridge, but it is the highest bump on the ridge. So, of course, when that happens, that highest little bump, little insignificant looking bump, will actually be the prominent peak. Ooh, nice Brumbaccarus right here. It's a nice oldie. This one's been around for a while. It's a male Brumbaccarus too. So I'm gonna go backtrack. There should be a trail leading off that should go down, because I'm supposed to approach it, I believe, from the south. So I didn't realize how close all these peaks were. All these peaks are very close together. Yeah, I'm supposed to approach it from the southeast, I think. Okay, so here it is. Here's the use trail. This is the use trail I'm going to take. So a little bit past North Van Dam Peak, which is around here. We're going to go down a little ways, look for this trail, and we're going to start cutting down. And this will make a hat trick for me today. It'll be the third peak of the day. Such a short adventure. To me, it's always cool to hit multiple peaks. I love climbing peaks. I'm pretty obsessed with it. As you see, most of my hiking videos. Yes, my videos will be like an hour and a half to 2 hours long. I'll be talking about plants the whole time. Because hey. How you doing? What's up, man? Okay, let's see. Okay, we're curving around. There must be another access trail. Yeah, because I know the trail kind of splits around. Okay, I could have just come from that way too. Okay, well, I'm still on the right way. Yeah, because I saw those guys whirling around. I was like, they're doubling back. Am I missing something here? No. They're lot of trail splits here. You can see a few trail splits down below peak 1080. So I guess the way I went was a little different. Yeah, a lot of bikers out today. Alright, so I'm going to head down. It's going to get a little slippery. Just got to watch my footing. After this, I'm going to start booking it back to the car. And there's my next peak right there. It'll be the third summit of the day. So at least I got to do a hat trick today. Pretty cool. All right. I'll see you a long way there. This looks like a very popular bike path because I see a lot of little ramps here. So this area must get very heavy bike usage. And I see a lot of tire tracks along this as well. So, all right. Get to the base of that. Should be more than 100, between 100 and 200 feet of climbing to get to the top. But just another peak I get to visit today. I should be down at the saddle pretty soon. All right. See you on the next clip. Alright, I'm just about at the saddle between the ridge and my next objective up here, peak 1080. So, a little disappointed about not being able to visit Van Dam Peak. But I just didn't see a really good route without having to cut through some bushwhack through chaparral. Alright, so here's my use trail, I think. Is it here or here? Let me see. Nice little ravine here. Okay, so the use trail is over here. Okay. It's a little overgrown. Yeah, there's the ridge line. Alright, here's my use trail. Now time to start working my way up to the ridge. Just hike up this use trail. I should be there in a few minutes. Alright. Okay. Now we're going to start climbing in earnest now. Yeah, it's a little overgrown over here. It's more like a peak bagger peak. But it's an easy to follow trail. The route shows itself easily. It's a very followable trail, just kind of narrow in spots. And we start getting some steep stuff here. So, all right. Alrighty. Ooh boy. Alright. Keep working my way up this and see you near the top. So as I'm climbing up this, seeing a big mix of white sage and black sage. So I'm keeping my eyes out for some potential hybrid sages. Because I've seen on a good few occasions the hybridization of white and black sage. So I'm just keeping an eye out for that. This right here looks a little intermediate. I think that's a hybrid, white and black sage. Lighter color than your normal black sage and a little darker than your normal white sage. Some of this is actually pretty good rock too. Some of this trail is actually rocky, like actually some areas where you can get some good traction on rock. Not like bouldery, but where the rock outcrop surfaces on the trail. So there's some spots where we get some pretty good traction. All right. A little overgrown here, but again, very followable. Just pay attention. You'll see the trail underfoot. I think I'm just about to summit right now, actually. Pretty short walk to get up here. Steep, but not that bad. All right. Time to start looking for the high point. Just about to hit it right now. Ooh! Big chaparral yucca rosette. Ooh wee, that's a big one. Hesperal yucca whippley. All right, well, we're just about there. Some higher ground over here. All right, this is it. Peak 1080, third summit of the day. This is it. There's the ridgeline leading over towards North Van Dam Peak, somewhere over there. All right. This is my third summit visit of the day. Looking to see if there's a summit register. I think this one's on Peak Bagger. First, let me look at this big scrub oak. I think this is the only scrub oak I've ever seen over here. There's a nice scrub oak thicket right here. Oh, wow, look at this. Quercus acutidens. Looks like this one went deciduous for winter. Starting to... Yeah, this one went partly deciduous. Sometimes these oaks will do that, these scrub oaks. Sometimes they'll go deciduous or partially deciduous. I might have mentioned that in my spotlight video. That scrub oaks are not always evergreen. I want to say that I think that's either a geocache or a summit register. But the high point is just up the hill. Boy. And another big wood rat nest underneath the lemonade berry, Rhus integrifolia. But yeah, here's an absolutely beautiful scrub oak. And this one went semi-deciduous. This one shed about 70% of its leaves. But it's starting to leaf out now. It's starting to get new leaves right now. So sometimes these oaks can be partially deciduous too. So this is Quercus acutidens, Torrey's hybrid scrub oak. Very common here in San Diego County. And I see it on a lot of my lower elevation, even mid-elevation hikes. And I'm pretty sure I've seen this at 6,000 feet in the Laguna Mountains as well. And I've seen it near sea level in some of the coastal canyons in San Diego. But yeah, this is Quercus acutidens, Torrey's hybrid scrub oak. It's a hybrid of Engelmann oak, Quercus engelmannii, and which is found in scattered parts in foothill San Diego County. And another scrub oak is the other parent. It's Quercus cornelius muelleri. The Mueller scrub oak is the other parent of the acutidens. So the acutidens is typically a shrub. It takes the size intermediacy between the small to medium-sized Engelmann oak tree and the medium-sized Mueller scrub oak you see here. So these can get quite large. They can be very large shrubs too. Quercus acutidens can be a very large shrub and occasionally can form a tree. I've even seen it as a single trunk tree on more than one occasion. And not a very large tree, a very small tree. Not much taller than what you'd expect of a shrub, but I have seen this as a single-trunked miniature tree before as well. But yeah, this is Quercus acutidens, and this one went partially deciduous. I know sometimes Engelmann oak, Quercus engelmannii, can be partially deciduous. It could either be drought deciduous or spring deciduous, shedding its leaves as the new leaves are coming on. And occasionally, the drought deciduousness will last through the winter, so it's drought and winter deciduous occasionally. And then sometimes it's fully evergreen. So that's probably why these scrub oaks are doing the same thing. Quercus cornelius muelleri, the other parent of the acutidens right here, the Torres hybrid oak, is typically an evergreen shrub. I don't know, it might have some deciduous habits. I generally see them fully green through the winter months. But again, Engelmann oak does shed leaves from time to time, sometimes drought deciduous, sometimes winter deciduous, sometimes mostly evergreen. So this one must take after its Engelmann oak parent. But beautiful, beautiful shrub. Very beautiful. Quercus acutidens. Right here near the top of Peak 1080. Kind of a surprise here in the middle of coastal sage scrub. It's usually more of a chaparral and woodland plant, but yeah, you do see it pop up in coastal sage scrub too. All right, let's go back up to the peak. I'm just gonna do a little 360 up here. Just a little quick 360, and then take my summit selfie and start moving on. So I do have places to go. So we're gonna start looking west towards Black Mountain and Rancho Penasquitos. And we're gonna start swinging it counterclockwise. Now we're looking more towards the south. Now we're looking more towards the east, with big bad El Cajon Mountain there center stage. The Powell range to the east, more towards the east. And northeast, there's our scrub oak to the north, right there. And we're gonna swing it around, looking towards Lake Hodges area. Looks like over towards the hills of San Marcos, closing it back out to the west with Black Mountain again. I want to get my summit selfie, and then I got to start heading back. All right, time to start heading back. So I have hit a hat trick today. Third peak of the day, Peak 1080, which is between 1,080 and 1,120 feet. Looking on Google Earth, it was maybe a couple feet above 1,080, so it's definitely closer to 1,080 than it is to 1,120. It's definitely a little bit lower than North Van Dam, probably about 30 feet lower, but pretty cool little side peak to visit. I'm really glad I made it up here. Not that hard to find. Just it's also easy to overshoot it. So now what I got to do is dip back down to the saddle and then start climbing back up towards the ridge. And then I'm going to have to hoof it back over North Van Dam Peak and then find my western approach trail that I used to get up here so I can get back down to the cul-de-sac. All right. Very, very cool. So I hit a small little summit bump on the high point of a westward extending ridge off of the main ridge. There's a westward shooting ridge. So that was my first peak, and I'll get the approximate elevation. I'll look at the topo maps and see if there's a peak bagger page for it, and I'll add the approximate elevation to that one during the video and on my map. And I think on my map, I don't know if I'm going to exclude I think I'm going to actually include the route I took to try to get to regular Van Dam Peak. So I'm going to try to include that. And I'll just make a notation at that turnaround point where this is where I approximately turned around. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to visit Van Dam Peak. Maybe there is another approach, but I don't know. I also saw those barbed wire fences there. I didn't want to get caught in that. There's probably a reason why it's there. And I didn't really see a trail anyway, so probably became overgrown. All right, see you back at the saddle. All right, so I'm back at the saddle. Very short walk to get up there and very short walk to get down. Just a matter of minutes. So now I'm joining the trail to get back on the ridge, the one that's got all the ramps and stuff for all the mountain bikers to get some oomph on their rides. So, all right, start working my way up this, and probably be back at the ridge in a little while. Look back at Peak 1080. Cool little side trip. Definitely one of the most interesting attractions of the day, to be honest with you. It's a peak I've never visited. Been to North Van Dam once back in 2018. So glad to say I have visited some other peaks in this cool little open space park. All right, I'll see you up the way. See you back at the Ridgeline Trail. Here's a nice size chemise. Nice one. Pretty nice size chemise right here. The old seat heads from last summer. I'm just about at the ridgeline again. Didn't take long. Yeah, I was pointing out that chemise. Cut out the clip pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I came around this way. I'll just follow that. Yeah, I'll just follow the way I came. Just likely to nearly get knocked over by a bike. Guy comes flying down the hill. Came less than a foot from knocking me over right as I was pointing out that chemise. So I cut the camera right away. Yeah, the way people ride down these hills. This is a mixed use area. I know you want to get speed and everything, but wow. All right, so I should be back on the main trail in a few seconds, and I'm gonna start heading south on that. Here we are. Time to start heading south to work my way back. I'll have to keep an eye out for the use trail going down the west side of the ridge so I don't miss it. But starting my return trip here. I'll see you on my next clip. I just had a realization. There have been a lot of people out here today. A lot of people. Especially, I think I've been the only hiker out here. Everybody else has been on bikes. And it just dawned on me, not that it means much to me working in retail, but a lot of people must have been off today because of President's Day. I think that was today, I believe. I thought it was supposed to be last Monday. But yeah, I think today was President's Day, February 19th. That's usually around the 19th or 20th of the month. So I was wondering, there's a lot of people out here for a Monday. But like I said, I work in retail, I work in a grocery store. So these type of days really don't seem to register with me because they're normal operating days. So it's easy to forget sometimes. So I was wondering why there were so many people out today. A lot of these people are probably off because it's a federal holiday. Federal national holiday, one of those two, I think. So that's why I've been seeing a lot of mountain bikes here on the trail. Pretty interesting. Yeah, it just dawned on me. Here we are, just about back at North Van Dam Peak. I'll go walk up to the summit area for one more little quick touchdown and start working my way back. Yeah, I can see Peak 1080 from here. If I can't see Peak 1080 from here, you probably can't see the actual summit of North Van Dam. So I will tag the summit one last time. Just for the heck of it. Because it's here. And one of these days, I'm gonna have to check out the east side of the ridge. Yeah, I can't even see Peak 1080 from here. So, yeah, I can't even see it from here. So here we are back on North Van Dam Peak. 1,113 feet. North Van Dam Peak. Fortunately, Van Dam Peak itself is going to remain unclimbed. I know people visit it. I see a lot of registered ascents on Peak Bagger. Some people come up from different directions, and some people actually bushwhack their way up from the east side. But since this is one of those open space parks, I try not to go off trail too much out of respect for the parks. Like that last peak, Peak 1080, that was a trail, it was a use trail. So that, you know, that's fine, but like actually going off trail and bushwhacking. I do like to go cross country a lot in my hikes. I do a lot of cross country off trail adventures, especially at Mount Laguna, and especially used to do that a lot in Angeles National Forest when I used to go up there all the time. So yeah, I gotta follow the ridge in a roughly southerly direction, and then I gotta go descend down towards that saddle and then go back down towards the cul-de-sac. I think it was Middle Ridge Terrace, I think was the name of it. I should easily have no problem getting back to the freeway, Interstate 15. So I'm going to be heading to Escondido to visit my father in the health facility, hang out with him for a few hours, go home and try to get some sleep tonight. Probably going to end up going back to Escondido tomorrow just for visiting. I highly doubt I'm going to be hiking tomorrow, especially if it's going to be raining. So I don't think that's going to be in the cards for tomorrow. So there I go. I'll catch you at the junction of that use trail. Alright, so looking around, I kind of see what looks like a pathway up this side of Van Dam Peak. But I just don't see where it comes from here along the trail. I think it might have been one of those openings that kind of dead-ended at the barbed wire fence. I thought I saw something that looked like it could be a pathway, but I think I see some openings in the chaparral towards the right side of the peak of Van Dam Peak, but I'm not going to go at it again because I kind of have to start working my way down and go move on with the rest of my day. Alright, let's see. Alright, so there's North Van Dam Peak. Here's a use trail. This should be my use trail taking me back, so I ended branching off to the right. And this looks like my trail. That should get me back down to the cul-de-sac. I can see my Jeep from up here. I didn't park right at the cul-de-sac. I parked a few houses down because there are a lot of houses with very little curb space, and I didn't want to block anybody's driveway, and B, kind of wanted to be a little respectful. So that's one thing when you're parking in neighborhoods. It is public parking, but try to be respectful. Don't be excessively loud. Don't block anybody's driveway. If you have to park on another street and walk it over, you gotta do what you gotta do. I just try to be very respectful when I park in residential neighborhoods, especially where there are trailheads leading up from said cul-de-sacs and stuff, and roadside trailheads and whatnot. So, all right, I'm gonna keep working my way down this, and I'm not gonna be filming as much on the way down, but I'll keep you posted as normal. So at least keep filming on and off for the rest of my route. See you down the way. All right, so I'm just about to reach the saddle and my final descent coming up very soon. This is the trail I took to get up to the first summit of the day. Again, I'm going to look up the elevation on that one. That was kind of an unplanned summit climb, and I'm glad I did that one because I was still able to get my 3 peaks in today. Really hoping for 3 peaks today. So yeah, that's the way I came down. This is the way to that first summit, but now I'm going to go bear right here and start going down this access trail back to the cul-de-sac. Very beautiful way to get up into the hills. Highly recommend this. Really highly recommend this hike. Just like I said, this first section coming up, which will be your last section going down, unless you do a car shuttle or something, or loop back on city streets, is a doozy. So I'm gonna have to kind of take my time going down this one too. Coming up this was pretty slippery. Going down is gonna be more slippery. But you do take this route up into the hills and down from the ridge, you're going to want to take your time, not only because of the steepness and slipperiness of the trail, but also this little canyon scenery. These little canyons, something about little miniature canyons that really speak to me. I really love these little mini canyons, that little mini drainage canyons coming from the hills and ridges, because they're just so scenic. Like this little amphitheater right here. Okay, this is a really tricky spot. Okay, I gotta focus, so I'll catch up with you. just a few minutes away from finishing up this hike. Yeah, coming back down a few minutes ago. It was just a couple minutes ago. Wow, that was kind of gnarly. I was starting to slide sideways. Sometimes when I'm on a steep slope, especially going downhill, I'll put my feet oblique, at an oblique angle, to try to get some stability. And even that wasn't working too extremely well. I did kind of have to slide a little bit. Stop, slide, stop. Here comes another steep part right here. Yeah, see? You see my feet are at an angle to try and at least partially arrest my momentum. A good idea would be trekking poles. I have trekking poles at home, but I never use them. Trekking poles would probably be a pretty good idea, especially along parts of this trail system here. There are some pretty steep areas, mostly this one here. But yeah, trekking poles would actually be a good idea. So I'm gonna actually walk this rocky little drainage ditch. Oh, there's an Eleotes. Ooh boy. Little beetle, or call them stink beetles. Eleotes, in the genus Eleotes. And I see these a lot on the trail, so I'm just trying to be careful I don't slip and accidentally squish him or her. Alright. So I should be back in a few minutes. And I'll come back up with a little update when I'm just about there. So we're on the final stretch. One last look back up at Black Mountain in Rancho Penasquitos. Again, the second highest peak in the city limits of San Diego. Right up there at 1,552 feet. And here's that beautiful toyon I pointed out on the beginning of this video. Beautiful toyon right here too. What a magnificent specimen. Not extraordinarily large, but beautiful architecture, beautiful branches. Love the multi-trunked base of it. This is just about ready to wrap up another hike. I'm glad I did an after work hike because tomorrow it'll probably be raining. So, yeah. Not gonna be doing much in the way of hiking tomorrow, I don't believe. We're just about back here at the cul-de-sac. Beautiful trails here. Great coastal sage scrub action. Cross this little culvert. Just follow this little pathway. And the cul-de-sac is just over there. Well, that's gonna basically do it for my hike today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this hike. My car is just about 40-50 feet down the road. Here's the cul-de-sac. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it. Ooh! Finally got to see one of those on camera. I see them all the time, but you don't get to see them on camera. Alright, well, there's my car. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another adventure.